Hello everybody, thanks for tuning in to my European Outlook video. Before I get on with the weather for the week ahead for Europe, I'm going to quickly talk about the advertising. There'll usually be a video ad overlaying my weather videos here at GavsWeatherVids.com. Please play those video ads because you'll be supporting GavsWeatherVids.com if you do that. And if there's not a video ad, but just be a general ad which you can click on if you like what the advertiser is offering. I've also got the banner ad, of course, up on the top part of the page. Have a look at those if there's anything there that you like. Click on it and go through to the advertiser, and again you'll be supporting GavsWeatherVids.com if you do this. Also want to talk about the website where I get the charts from. It's weathercentral.de, and you can find that on my links page. Right then, getting it on with the weather for the weekend for Europe, and this situation today across Europe. Got this area of low pressure here across France and much of Germany and Low Countries. Quite an unseasonably area of low pressure there, giving quite a bit of heavy rain. We'll have a look at that in a moment. We've got pressure building to the north, though, to the north of the continent, to the north of Scotland, stretching into Scandinavia and back into Russia. This is going to become important through the week ahead because it is going to tend to become the dominating feature across much of the continent this week. And we're also going to have quite a bit of warm weather as well. Notice that through the Mediterranean we've got some fairly weak pressure. We still haven't really got high pressure developing through the Mediterranean yet. And we've got this big area of low pressure out in the Atlantic that's being blocked really by this area of high pressure building over Scandinavia. So this Atlantic low is being blocked. The Atlantic train is finally being blocked off, which means that for much of the British Isles and for Ireland we are going to see a much drier week coming up. Now, having a look at the upper air temperatures, we can see that we've got quite a bit of warm air really across much of the continent. This area of low pressure we had that we've got over France and Germany has pulled up some quite warm air on its northern and eastern flank, particularly in association with this high pressure to the northeast. So the low pressure over France, the high pressure to the northeast of the continent has pulled up quite a bit of warm air out of North Africa, and that warmth is really going to be the dominating thing, I think, through the course of this week. The temperatures are going to be on the warm side throughout much of the continent this week, and with high pressure taking over, there's going to be quite a bit of settled weather as well, although central parts of the continent will be at risk of thunderstorms. Have a look at that again in a moment. This is precipitation for today. I've got a lot of very heavy rain across France, some really torrential rain going on there across France. I've been looking at the stats for France. It has been a very, very wet period across much of France just recently, and the rain is continuing there across France for today. Some really torrential rain indeed. That rain extends up in towards the Low Countries and through into Germany as well. This is more in the form of thunderstorms. But around the Alpine areas through northern Italy, we do have quite a bit of heavy rain going on as well. And those storms stretch up in towards Latvia and Lithuania as well, and pretty much of Poland as well. Have a quick look at the Cape. This is the convective potential. This is telling us where we've got the risk of storms today. And we can see that we have got the risk of thunderstorms across many parts of Germany, down in towards Holland and the Low Countries as well. Some quite heavy, some quite high Cape values there. Convective potential, so there is potential there for some thunderstorms. And if we go on further towards Poland, well, we do have the risk of thunderstorms in Poland, and going up towards Latvia and Lithuania, the risk of storms is high there with the high convective potential. Notice that for France we haven't got too much in the way of convective potential, so despite the torrential rain across much of France, perhaps not too much in the way of thunderstorms. Maybe perhaps some thunderstorms around some parts of Italy, Corsica, Sardinia might have risk of some thunderstorms. But really for this western part of Europe, through much of Spain and Portugal up into the British Isles, haven't got too much convection going on. And again, down in the southeast of Europe, the same is true. Having a look at the temperatures, well, it's a very cool scene across much of France today, under that torrential rain, of course, and British Isles is warming up a little bit compared to the warmth recently, but those temperatures are about normal really. The real warmth is for the central and eastern parts of Europe, so we're looking at temperatures around Germany and into Poland, peaking at around 30, possibly 32 degrees, around the 90 Fahrenheit mark for some of those areas. As I say, we have got risk of that heat setting off thunderstorms. So much of this eastern part of Europe is very warm. Now, as we go into the middle of the week, that area of high pressure, as I was saying, really is taking over the weather across the continent. So we have this big area of high pressure building over Scandinavia, and that ridge extends down in towards France, much of Spain, Portugal, through British Isles and Ireland as well. Although the pressure is quite weak, so there could still be showers in these regions. But real risk of showers, I think, through the middle of the week will probably be through the central and eastern part of the continent. Having a look at the precipitation, well, I think this is a bit overdone for the British Isles, but it is showing the risk of some thundery showers, but I think those should be quite well scattered. Things quite a bit drier across France as well, still a risk of a few showers, but quite a bit drier, and much of this western part of Europe through Spain and Portugal fairly dry as well. But the thunderstorms are still going on there across Germany and down in towards Hungary and parts of Romania. Could be at risk of some quite heavy thunderstorms through the Balkans as well. Having a quick look at the convective potential, well, we've still got some very high convective potential still going on across Germany through the course of the middle of the week, so that's where the thunderstorms will be, through into Poland as well, and then down in towards parts of Austria, Hungary and parts of northern Italy. We do have the risk of some convective potential as well. So the convection really through the middle of the week, the risk of thunderstorms will be in this central and eastern part of the continent, not too much in the west, although it does show a little bit for the British Isles, and nothing at all really going on up over Scandinavia. Hardly surprised, because we're under a big area of high pressure. And the temperatures, well, it's warm across much of the continent through the middle of the week. That warmth in both central parts and eastern parts of Europe has extended westwards. So France much warmer, with temperatures up into the 20s, maybe up to 23, 24 degrees. Also into the British Isles and Ireland, much warmer as well. Temperatures into the mid-20s, possibly. The warmth extends down in towards Spain and Portugal. So it's really quite a warm scene across much of the continent this through the middle part of this week. The core of heat again is around Germany, Austria and towards the Ukraine. I think there we're seeing temperatures possibly as high as 32 degrees 90 Fahrenheit once again. Now, as we go into the end of the week and the weekend, well, that ridge of high pressure is still there dominating over Scandinavia. If anything, it's starting to move a little bit further westwards towards the north of Scotland. Notice these areas of low pressure beginning to develop out of the Atlantic. They could start to spread more and settle weather back in across parts of France and Central Europe once again. So, having a quick look at the precipitation for Saturday, and we do find some rain across parts of Ireland, southwest England, extending down in towards France. Could be some thunderstorms mixed in with this as well, and that then begins to extend into those central parts of the continent. But for northern areas, for much of northern Scandinavia, northern parts of the British Isles, weather is very settled, and quite settled there through many central western parts of the Mediterranean as well. Having a quick look at the convective potential, and there is some convective potential for France, so that rain coming in could be thundery, and then that extends into these parts of Italy and then down into the Balkans and parts of Greece as well. Could be at risk of some thunderstorms. No convective potential though for the central and northern parts, because this is some way off, so it is open to change. Have a quick look at the temperatures. Well, they have reduced a bit actually by the weekend. I think that's as we pick up that easterly wind. If we have a quick look at this, we can see that the winds are freshening from the east there, so that's going to have the effect of reducing the temperatures, I think, across much of the continent at the end of the week and into the weekend. So we're down into the high teens and low 20s across the British Isles. France still up into the 20s degrees, but it's come down a little bit from what it will be in the middle of the week, and really much cooler indeed for Germany, Poland and into Ukraine. Those temperatures have eased off. Still warm, still temperatures around the 20-degree mark, but that is cooler than it will be around the middle of the week, as we pick up an easterly wind, and that starts to spread that cooler air in across the continent. So it is looking like being quite a warm week this week across much of the continent. Fairly settled for northern parts, but quite a bit of thundery weather likely for central parts, and that heavy rain, of course, torrential rain today across France. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have enjoyed this video and you're interested in the European weather, come back on Monday next week. There'll be another European video for you to view next Monday, but that's all for now.